The number one question I get from my clients that are teachers and that I help with developing their marketing plan, that I help with developing their course design plan is how do I price this workshop? Like, what should I charge? That is a huge question. And I do want to give you an answer in this video. I'm not just going to tell you go buy the book, which is what I'm working on. My goal this month, which is selling 100 copies of my book. I do want to give you an answer. But hi, I'm Tori. I'm your digital marketing coach. And today is day 9 of me trying to sell 100 copies of my book, Workshops Unleashed: How to Design Engaging and Successful Workshops for Quilters and Crafters. So today's question is all about pricing. So let's get into it. What you want to do first is think about pricing as a way to market your class. And I know that's kind of a backwards way of thinking, but pricing is a way to communicate value. It is not just what can I get from someone. It's not how much do I need for the supplies and the 1 hour or 2 hours or 8 hours that I'm there to teach. It's about marketing and it's about value. So the section of my book is called Price to Thrive. And that's what I really want you to consider is what do you need to charge for this workshop in order to thrive within the environment of that workshop? So if you are there for 8 hours, if you are prepping for days to get the supplies, create the curriculum, get to the venue, create an experience for these students and be there for 8 hours. And then afterward, you have to clean up. And then afterward, you have to follow up, or you should be following up to help improve your course, to help get some marketing feedback. There's another video all on feedback. But Price to Thrive gives you the idea and the freedom, maybe freedom's not the right word, but the permission to charge what all of that effort is worth. And there's a lot that goes into pricing. It's a huge mindset shift as well, where as as women, and I talk about this a lot on my podcast, Quilting on the Side with Andy from True Blue Quilts. So if you're interested in more of this idea of pricing, we go through an entire pricing structure within one of our episodes, which is amazing. And you can jump onto Buzzsprout and find Quilting on the Side podcast. And we've gone through a lot of conversations with this. So today, what I'm hoping is that you take from this video that pricing to thrive is what we want to do within the quilting community. And historically, women's craft has been called a craft and kind of demeaning the value of what we do versus art. So if you're calling something art, it just automatically elevates it. If you call something a craft, it automatically puts it into this hobby hole, this hobby category that is hard to break out of and it's hard to charge what we're worth in. However, I would still consider all of that effort, all of that time, and typically either your really dedicated months of work or decades of experience. Like I've worked with long armers who have been long arming on their gigantic sewing machines for decades that have perfected free motion quilting into these miraculous, beautiful designs that just blow my mind. And I did free motion quilting on a long arm for 3 years professionally, but I did like edge to edge stuff. I did a little bit of custom work. And what they do is just, it's breathtaking and it's amazing. And they struggle to price their courses when they go out to teach the way that they've learned to quilt. So keep all of that in mind. Now, something more practical. So we're keeping in mind we're going to price to thrive. We're pricing not just for the 8 hours we're there, we're pricing for all of the effort. We're pricing for all of the time and all of our expertise. Now, something more practical is to look in your area and to see what other people are pricing. That is great. Now, we're not trying to copy their prices. We're looking for like an average. And if it is on the low end, if it feels like I can't charge that and show up as my full self with all of my energy and all of my prep, then you may need to charge more and just be able to communicate that value a little bit more, which means maybe calling on your past decades of experience and putting that in your class description where you are showing up with decades of experience and you are showing them how to get to their goal quickly and efficiently. And now there is another video all on course descriptions and how to create an enticing course description. So go ahead and check that out. You can also grab a copy of my book, which goes into much more detail and actually walks you through a pricing structure as well as a class description to make it both clear and enticing to get more students in your workshop. So that is my best piece of practical advice. All right. And that's something I suggest for all my clients because I work with clients one on one and in group coaching where I help them with their marketing and with their course design. So if you were struggling with a class description, if you were struggling with coming up with how to market your class, I do offer help on that. You can find links to everything in my bio and below. Once I get certified, I'll get those green and not green, but blue and pins. You can actually click on them. But right now, I'm trying to sell 100 copies of my book workshops, Unleashed: How to Design Successful engaging and successful workshops for quilters and crafters to help me get to H&H, which is a trade show in Chicago in May. And it's going to help me afford a booth so that I can actually reach more and more people. And so if you're interested in the book, you can go ahead and grab it now. And if you know someone who could use the book to help improve their teaching or who is teaching, who's because most teachers are lifelong learners, so they love to get books. Or if they're thinking about teaching and they have no idea where to start, this book was written for them. All right, have a great rest of your day. Like and subscribe if you are enjoying this, and it helps me reach more of my people who are quilting and crafting teachers.